development program on Radio Masterclass. Masterclass comes your way every Wednesday at 1:15 p.m. and runs all the way through to 2 p.m. here on your superstation Joy 99.7. Masterclass is powered by Joy Business and brought to us by Goyle. Goyle, they say good energy. Goyle, Yenara, Yedia. And so it's the 26th of February, today, 2020. It's officially 3 days to the end of the month of February in the year 2020. See how time flies. Just yesterday, it was January. It was 31st December. And now it's almost the end of February. Valentine has come and gone. We're waiting for Independence Day. Very soon we'll be done with the end of March also. My name, as always, is Yabanafo, and I will be your host for today's edition of Masterclass. So if you've been listening to Masterclass in the last couple of weeks, you'll know that we've been talking about the all-important topic of emotional intelligence and business, emotional intelligence in the workspace, emotional intelligence and entrepreneurship. What exactly is emotional intelligence? We spent the first week talking about it, defining it, and we said that behaviors were the expression of one's emotions. We've been spending time in the studio with Mr. James Addison, who has been sharing some wonderful thoughts with us, James Christie Addison, and we've been talking about last week we spent some time talking about building the right teams and creating the right environment. Building the right teams and creating the right environment. Today we'll be looking at 2 keywords and 1 phrase, or should I say 3 keywords. We'll be looking at adaptability, optimism, and self-actualization under emotional resilience, and a few other topics as well as we go along on the discussion of emotional intelligence. We find that this is one discussion that extends, we could go on and on and on and on. And so for next month, my producer has allowed that we'll have Mr. Addison here in the studio and have some of you, our cherished listeners, join Mr. Addison here in the studio to share some thoughts, share your experiences. What has your experiences been? What has your experience been where emotional intelligence is concerned, even if it's in the home, even if it's in your everyday endeavor? How does it affect you and affect your business? Has it cost you money? Has it made you money? We'll be willing to hear those thoughts. So for all those who will call on the show today and next week, when you call, just stay on the line just a little bit longer. My producer will take your contact details, and then we'll be happy to have you in studio to meet with Mr. James Christie Addison and myself to share some thoughts to our listening public on emotional intelligence. It's a very important topic. We don't only want to hear from the professionals, we also want to hear from you, from those who are listening, from those who own businesses, from those who are entrepreneurs, for those who have had experiences one way or the other with emotional intelligence. So in just last week, I shared some thoughts about emotional intelligence, and I spoke about smiling, and I shared some experience from a woman that we all know and refer to as Mother Teresa. And here's what she said. She said that, let us always meet each other with a smile, for the smile is the beginning of love. Let us always meet each other with a smile, for the smile is the beginning of love. Today, we'll be going straight into an extensive discussion on emotional intelligence, and then we'll spend some time talking also about emotional resilience. Time check in the studio is 19 minutes past the hour of 1, and we're privileged to have back with us here in the studio Mr. Addison. Mr. Addison, you're welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Very good afternoon to your cherished listeners.
Okay. Well, let me ask you one quick question. Since we're talking about the subject, surely you've been thinking about it, you've been brooding over it, and so you are more should I say alert about that topic ever now than before. It's like when you're buying a new car and it's a Honda. You find that every Honda you see on the road, or should I say you see a lot more Hondas on the road than other cars, because it's a car you're going to buy. So you're like, oh, that's the car I'm going to buy. What was the one experience you had this week where emotional intelligence was visibly and clearly displayed? Whether good or bad?
Wow.
Maybe you went to the filling station, maybe you went to the shop to buy, so you don't have to mention their name, but just one example.
There are a couple of examples that I encountered this week that emotional intelligence was visibly displayed. I think to that one was a very positive one. Yes, it was a very positive one. Yes.
Okay, what happened?
I happened to be one of the speakers at this year's rebranding conference for Credit Union.
Okay.
And most of the participants, after just giving them the definition and the basic meaning to emotional intelligence, the place went very quiet. Very quiet. And I just made a remark that emotional intelligence class, you need to be emotionally charged. And everybody was just happy because
wow.
it moves you in such a way that you're ready to sit down, sit up, and really observe what is really going on. And then there was one incident that I said, very soon I'm going to stimulate them, so they shouldn't only pay attention to me, they should pay attention to themselves and their colleagues around them, because very soon when I stimulate you, you may not be aware of what you're doing, but your colleagues should be able to observe. So everybody then became like alert, looking at what is really happening to himself and other people around. So emotions are with us all the time.
Everywhere we go. It's like culture.
Yes,
it's like the air we breathe, isn't it?
That is it.
Right. Okay. So just before you go into your topic, we'll be spending a bit more time beyond today's discussion. So originally we're going to talk about adaptability and optimism and self-actualization. But let's dwell a bit more today on communication.
Good.
And under communication, let's talk about listening.
Good.
Because you see, we're talking about emotional intelligence in the context of business, in the context of creating the right teams, building the right environment, in the context of the business setting. And clearly, apart from hiring people, firing people, promoting people, or dealing with all those issues, one of the key things is also how to communicate with people. And that's a key thing. So I'm excited about that. If we can dwell a bit more on that today. And in the communication, active listening. I read about listening, and I hear that there's something called active listening and passive listening. When someone is talking to you, it's like when you walk into your boss's office and they say, boss, can I talk to you? You say, yes. I'm listening.
Good.
Go ahead.
Good.
Meanwhile, you are typing.
Good.
You say, and the person is quiet because as far as they're concerned, you listening to them means look at me. Look at me.
Good.
My mother always used to say, when I talk to you and I can't see you, I can't hear what you are saying.
It means you are not there.
You are not listening.
Yes,
so talk to us about listening today under EI in the sphere of doing business.
Thank you very much. Briefly, I would like to give a